Hi everyone. I hope you can hear me. Let's actually start with that. Can you put in the chat whether you can hear me well, and then we will continue. I'm looking at the chat right now. Okay. Anyway, let's start. Hi, my name is Alexandra. I'm marketing manager here at Cycleon.
Hi, my name is Niels. I'm head of product here at Cycleon.
And we are here today to present the Omni-Channel returns management solution. I will be from time to time looking on the screen to see if there are any problems, any comments in the chat. Yes, we can hear you. That's amazing. Thank you. So we are talking today about Omni-Channel, but before we move to that, I want to introduce Cycleon and what we do here, because maybe some of you already know Cycleon, maybe some of you don't. So we are a global tech-enabled end-to-end returns management company. And what does it mean? What is returns management? Very simple. We take care of all the returns for you. We make your returns scalable, smart, and simple. We make sure that what does it mean? Scalable, you can grow any direction you want. You can grow geographically, you can grow in terms of volumes. Your returns management will grow together with you. Smart, it means that all the decision in the returns flow will be based on data, and the data supports returns flow at every step. And simple, you don't need to think about your returns at all. The complexity is gone because the return flow is optimized and works efficiently. How do we do it? Of course, scalable, smart, and simple. It's sounds complicated, but actually we can easily achieve it all by having modular approach, which means that we have more than 30 products and solutions that can create the perfect returns flow that can enable you to grow easily and therefore make your returns scalable. We have integrated platform, which means we integrate all the data from all the data points, from all the returns flow points, and we accumulate them all in one place, making sure that returns decisions are done in a smart way. And we have full orchestration. It means we have a full team of return support for you. We have account managers and control tower that have their eyes open and look at your returns flow day and night, making your return process simple. But that is very easily what we do today. But I can imagine you want to talk actually about why we are here today, and that is omnichannel returns management. So Niels, can you please tell me what is Omnichannel?
Yeah, that's a good question. It was one of the first questions actually that we asked ourselves basically. So in terms of, it's one of the biggest buzzwords right now, I think, in the industry. What does omnichannel mean? And we did a couple of interviews with different stakeholder groups. So when you think about logistics, customer service, e-commerce, and everyone answered something else. So it really differs in what context you think about this. So for example, when we did an interview with customer service industry, you really could, yeah, it was really focused about consumer communication, different ways of reaching out, email, call center work streams, all of that kind of things. When you talk about outbound logistics, omnichannel is really used in ways of spreading the delivery options. So delivery to home, delivery to a pickup point, delivery to a store. So that is, it really depends who you talk to, what it means. And that made it also actually difficult for us to really think, okay, what do we need to solve to offer an omnichannel return solution? Because that's the most difficult things, I think, for us to really put in one word, have it describe what we mean. And what we came up with is, for us, omnichannel returns really means harmonizing all the return streams. So brands, retailers, marketplaces, probably all of the audience have some way to deal with returns. But what we typically have seen is that all the different returns are a bit split within organizations. We actually already saw it here at Cycleon when we really started on this topic, that also every team at Cycleon was somehow involved because it really touches every part of the process.
But you said that, by the way, today I will be playing a bit the role of voice of customer. I will be asking the questions that I think typical client of Cycleon would ask. But if after that you still have some questions left, just drop them in the chat box and we will definitely have a look at them at the end. At the end, we will have some Q&A time. No worries about that. But so Niels, why were the returns split? Where does it come from?
Yeah, so like at Cycleon, we had people working on transport, so we were already offering solutions for example, picking up at retail locations, but also offering returns to end consumers. But also here at Cycleon, those teams are a bit split, right? They were really oriented towards fixing a use case, but it was never really about combining it or putting it together. And this is what we also see in organizational setups or the way of working. At our clients, but also while doing some interviews. And it really, it's completely separate worlds actually. It's teams, basically whole verticals that do their own thing and don't really talk. And I think there's been a tremendous focus on e-commerce and consumer experience. So that has really, in the returns world, become the show pony, right, of brands. And the more retail returns or the more bulky end of season returns really have become a bit of the how do you say that, the black goose of the family.
No one thinks about what is going on there behind in the store. Everyone takes care of that their consumers are happy, I think.
Yeah, so it was all about selling, and that's of course fine, but it's also, I mean, also the teams behind all the processes. So it's not the people in the store, it's not the people that manage the e-commerce flows. It's really also the people getting it all back, making sure the credits are done, making sure all the visibility is there, that the numbers add up. Working with approvals, it's a whole different world actually, where the consumer will be on your call center if the refund is not in after 3 days. Retailers tend to be a bit more accustomed to a 3-month credit notice, but that's not normal, right? But they also have become used to the situation, and I think everyone is kind of neglected. Neglect is maybe a hard word, but have not really seen the potential for efficiencies in this area.
Okay, and where do we start?
Yeah, that's a difficult one, right? So when we started plotting all the stakeholders or all the elements associated with Omni-Channel and Omni-Channel returns in this case, we started plotting all the different elements. Like, okay, how do we deal with Boris? It's a big example, right? So buy online, return in store. How do we take that? But actually, while working on this, that became even a bit less important because it's really about offering a seamless initiation process is what we found out. Then making sure that there's enough visibility. Then making sure that there's efficiency, and then making sure that the credit or the refunds are being done. So when mapping, you really see that typically retail flows really went into one direction. So it just was picked up somewhere and brought to one location. Where in the e-commerce side of things, it became a bit more, okay, when it's of good quality, it can go back on stock right away. If it's a bit worse quality, it can go to an outlet center, let's say. But with B2B, you didn't really see that. So working with all these different solutions that we offer for e-commerce, where you think about initiation via consumer portal, or what we had as the primary solution a couple of years ago is like label in the box, where there's already a pre-printed shipping label in the box. those kind of initiation ways. But for more retail or B2B kind of solution, it wasn't really there. So yeah, when you see all these icons, they all represent a piece of a journey, but it's so hard. And all those omni-channel pictures that you see online, they're all circles, but actually it's not a circle, right? It goes all over the place, and it's very hard to visualize. So when you try to plot this into kind of a journey for e-commerce, I think you can really see that some of these elements will come back, right? So a return is initiated, it is routed somewhere that makes sense. It can be requested via a self-service portal, or it can be requested via a customer service portal. It can be labeled on the box. Then it goes into a warehouse via either a drop-off, a pickup. Maybe it's actually never was delivered to the consumer, so it's like an undeliverable or return to sender, so it needs to go back to our warehouse as well. So you have all these different streams going to our warehouse, and what we typically offer there, we're the local heroes to keep it all local. And
local heroes, you mean local carriers, right?
Yeah, so we tend to work with the local heroes because that's the most convenient for end consumers in this e-commerce example. But with what we saw with retail is that I will come back to that later. You really see that big international carriers were used to cover the entirety of Europe, for example. But also there we saw some options.
Am I correct that in this chart we already see omni-channel, because there are different channels how consumer can start the return, there are different channels how he can actually send the return back to the brand, but actually in this case back to Cycleon.
Yeah. So what I mentioned before is e-commerce or the more the B2C side of things has really be the show pony, right? That's where most of the effort has gone to. And there we have really developed solutions like, self-service, right? Just drop it off without any portal with the label on the box, just drop it in the store. So all of that is already kind of taken care of. Then local hero, then to our warehouse, then do a lot of stuff with the product. So opening it up, checking it, grading it, reworking it to make it ready, to get it back to a sellable state. And then sorting it to the next fancy destination. So that can either be back to the distribution center, it can be to charity, it can be to a recycler. So there's a lot of different destinations that we can sort.
Okay, but let's have a look maybe at how can it look for retail returns.
Yeah, so this is typically not there, right? So there's not really, because as a retailer, you typically have a lot of brands that you sell, right? So every brand has a different way to get returns back, different approval process, different credit process, and it's usually not really in the circle of influence of the retailer or the people in the store actually to initiate something, to do something.
Let me stop you for a second. So retail, in this case, we are talking about the physical store where there's a physical brick and mortar location where they send it from, and they need to send returns back from the store to the brand, right?
Yeah, so it's not just the high street stores, right? It's also the more distribution center of bigger retailers where it's consolidated into a more industrial area, not really the high street. But yes, that's what I mean. So it's out of season returns, faulty products, but also consumer returns brought back to the store. Not knowing that there is such a hard organizational split sometimes between retail product or original retail product and digital products. There was not really a way for a store user to really initiate returns. Also, there was not really dependent on the situation, a different carrier or a different pickup solution available. So it was more or less of the same carrier, the same service in a big area, and then usually it just arrives suddenly at the brand's warehouse, and then you really have to cross your fingers that whatever you gave approval for has been returned, because that is it's sometimes a surprise.
Yeah, and then I can imagine it's not convenient. You cannot predict what can you put back in stock as well, so you don't know. Yeah, your inventory, you cannot really predict that.
No, you don't know exactly what's coming in. You don't know exactly when it's coming in. You don't know how much at the same time is coming in. So yeah, it usually also creates quite some stress on the distribution centers of receiving this kind of volume back. There's no predictability, or a limited predictability, I must say, in really processing these more retail returns back.
Okay. But when we're talking about omni-channel and different sales channels, it's not only e-commerce or retail, there are also, I believe, marketplaces, or sometimes brand also can send via partners. I think we can take care of those as well.
Yeah, so so with e-commerce, with retail, but also with marketplace and partner returns, you really see them they're becoming bigger and bigger, playing a more bigger role also in what consumers now expect, right? So they expect things to be seamless. They expect if you buy product on a marketplace or from a brand or from a physical store, that the experience is similar. And yeah, that is a solution that we already offer, and that we do. But yeah, that's what we also took in the omni-channel approach. So it's really harmonizing all returns from all different sales channels. So it doesn't matter if you sell via a physical store or via e-commerce or via a marketplace. Cycleon can manage the returns coming back and consolidate and give the same traceability and service level to all volumes.
I know that with marketplaces, they sometimes have requirements that refunds should be issued within several certain number of days. How does it work with Cycleon solution?
Yeah, so in order to accommodate that short refund lead time, we make use of our hub network. So in every local country, we have a hub available, and utilizing those local carriers to that local hub really shortens the refund lead time, because in our hubs we can open up the parcels and validate if the product that was registered to be returned actually was returned.
Okay, and then the refund is issued just within days, literally.
Yeah, let's say 2 to 3 days on average. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So generally, when we are talking about challenges with returns, I think those four categories are identified. That's customer experience, regardless this customer is actually the end consumer or retailer. It is, of course, always about costs, how to decrease cost, how to decrease hidden costs, and speed and efficiency, how to improve that, how to decrease speed and capacity. And as you said, when we are talking the consumer returns, you said called it show pony. With consumer returns, I think most of these problems are actually covered, especially if you are talking about taking a returns management provider like Cycleon. So for returns, for user experience, there are all kinds of portals where they can also create the returns, track their returns, and so on. There, as you said, there are short refund lead time, and because these items need to get back to stock, the operational efficiency is improved. There is a possibility to sort to different end locations, and if you tap into an existing network like the one that Cycleon has, generally as a brand, you can easily scale up your operations because it is not your network. You don't need an open extra warehouse, for example. And the same way with tapping into existing network, existing ecosystem, you can decrease your own operational costs. But am I correct that if you're talking about retail returns, this is actually not covered at all?
No, so I don't want to generalize. There are brands that have this taken care of, right? But in our interview phase, we really encountered the to be state to be not ideal in terms of user experience. And with user, I really mean the store users or the people trying to get something returned. So these are the
So the poor employees of the store who have these boxes of items they need to send back, right?
Yeah, so it's always difficult to arrange a pickup. Usually, you have to call the carrier yourself, or you have no clue when the carrier will show up. There are brands that have merged picking up returns and delivering new product into the store together, but it's not always arranged. So then it's a bit of a surprise. There is usually a hard approval process because it has to go. I mean, the more the retail returns tend to be a lot more bulky, right? So also the value goes up. So there are approval processes over quite some value. So there are a lot of people involved on the brand side to take care of this, and it's usually not automated. So it's a bit of a hard user experience there. Plus that, because of the lack of traceability, the lack of predictability when it will come, the credit lead time for users, is a bit, it can go fast, but it can also take a long time. And that is really something that we heard back from a lot of people, that were the main user experience issues, alongside, my store is full. I need to get rid of product. So there's of course also those kind of problems. Really in initiation and getting the funds back. That was really the main
And I think you also
pain
mentioned
points.
visibility, that they don't have an understanding of what is arriving, what was sent, and so on.
No, so that goes for both parties, for both the brands
Yeah.
receiving, but also for the retailers sending. So they don't know how long it will take. They don't know, what it means.
They don't have a track and trace button like consumers do.
No, indeed. So that was really the biggest pain points we uncovered.
Okay, then let's have a look at how now we're obviously here to launch the whole omni-channel solution.
Yes.
So obviously you have a solution for that. Let's have a look at this retail returns journey, and you said that you have a solution for basically every part of the journey. Can you please tell a bit more about that?
Yeah, so
you already mentioned a lot.
Yeah, I mentioned a couple of components. So one of the key things we focus on is the experience from the brick and mortar employee, or the warehouse employee shipping back products. So we really wanted to get this self-service component that consumers like, right? It's a proven thing, and also bring that more for the B2B space.
Yeah, we can actually have a look at that. So this is the retail portal. So now these, as I said, employees in the retail store, they have actually their own portal where they can log in.
Yeah. So they have a web-based application they can go to. They have their own account, and then when they log in, they can actually see. They can start a return, so they can request a pickup from a carrier, and then they can indicate what they're returning, and then they get the labels. They can prepare the shipments. They can schedule the pickup at the date and time that they want. Then the carrier will pick up, and then in the same portal they can log in and see the status of their return, so they can track it all the way to delivery to the brand.
So that's instead of calling the carrier, like you said, that they had to call themselves to schedule and to trace and so on.
Yeah. So I mean, we have to be honest. The retail world is not always super seamless. So there are still problems with rescheduling and doing that kind of stuff. So we're not naive in that sense that we can just let retailers do everything themselves. There's a powerful control tower behind this on Cycleon side. So we manage also that side between carriers and pickup locations. So in this case, the stores, to make sure that that's all fluent. So we really control and monitor those flows and those information flows.
take it end to end.
Yes, indeed.
But then let's go through the normal returns flow. So first they need to register the return. They can schedule the pickup, and you mentioned that also for the retail flow, you also work with the local heroes, and there are different shipping options.
Yeah. So what we've done is, so first of all, on the starting of the return side, what we've done is we also built an approval flow. So sometimes a brand requires an approval flow, but there are also, it's what they call like own stores. Brands sometimes also has own stores, and those stores may have like a VIP account, so they can actually return whatever without approval. So it's like pre-approved. But sometimes an approval flow is needed, and we automated this. So then the user will request a return, then it will go wait on a status awaiting approval. An operational team on the brand side will get an automated message saying, "Hey, this location asked for approval for this return. Is it okay?" And then when they click approve, the retailer gets a notification saying that they can start returning or scheduling a return.
Okay, now I get it.
Yeah, and then it depends a bit on the VIP account or not. What kind of solutions are available? So we offer three types of solutions in terms of logistics. So we offer a pallet pickup. So when goods are palletized, typically you see that it's more in a distribution center of bigger retailers. We can do a pallet pickup up to an FTL because of also value. We can offer box collection. So this is
So instead of for whole pallet, it can be also several boxes.
Yeah, it can be several boxes collected, and this can be at any frequency that you want. So it's just to get the goods out as quickly as possible. And we offer that with different types of carriers, local heroes, but also sometimes renowned international carriers. But we are also not naive here, and we know that some retail parties are a bit more difficult to let them work in a certain manner. That's because they have agreements in place for logistics already, so they tend to prefer using their own carrier contracts, their own logistics solutions, their own carriers. And that's when we offer a what we call pallet send-in or box send-in. And this is basically where the retailer uses their own logistics solution, but does request it in the portal, and then also prints labels, Cycleon labels that we can recognize and therefore track once it arrives at our hub. So the send-in solution does not have track and trace on the first mile, so on the way to our warehouse. But once in the warehouse, we have full traceability.
So it arrives to the warehouse, you scan it, and you immediately see what has arrived.
Yeah. So how many, and we can also do some value-added services where we actually validate all the contents of everything.
So now we are moving through the flow, and we have arrived to the warehouse. So I know that we have the network of decentralized warehouses. What actually decentralized mean?
It means that we don't have one place in a continent, let's say, where everything goes to. So we have strategically placed warehouses in regional areas, and we move all the volume back to a central location where we consolidate everything and then ship back to our brands.
Okay, that's why there are so many dots all around the continent.
Yeah, so it's really an hub and spoke model. So you grab all the product, all the volume in the local areas, you consolidate it, and using economies of scale. You keep the cost down per box, per pallet.
And CO2 down.
Yes, and it's more sustainable in the end. And also keep in mind that we can also do the consumer returns, right, in these countries. So we can actually consolidate both the retail volume, the partner and marketplace volume, and the consumer volume together in a consolidated manner, bring it back to a central location and deliver. So it's way more efficient to do it like this.
So then, as a brand, I will not receive 4 trucks per day, but just one that brings all my returns together.
Yeah, the frequency,
Yeah.
of course, depends, but and you can also split everything out in our hubs. But the concept of not moving 2 trucks from Italy all the way to Germany, where one is half full and the other is half full, it can be way more efficient like that. Yes.
Okay, but now we have arrived to the hub, to the warehouse, and you already mentioned that there are different value-added services available. Why would they need to use your value-added services?
Yeah, this is one of the things that surprised me, to be honest, is that um, on the e-commerce side, we're really used to, asking providers like Cycleon to validate the contents to get a quick refund out. But in the more retail bulky world, this was not really the standard. But now we basically say whatever we can do to an e-commerce parcel or an e-commerce return, we can also do to a B2B returns. So this means that we can sort it to different locations. We can grade it, so we can check in what condition it is. We can register if indeed what was promised to be returned is actually returned. We can bring it back to a sellable state. Also packaging, we can rework. So there's a lot of extra additional stuff that we can do in our local hubs that the brands then don't have to do in their distribution centers. So the product that will come back is way more organized in a way better condition, and it's filtered. So maybe all the bad quality products or the things that are make no sense to move any further can be sifted out in an early stage.
So basically, I can receive back pallets full of items that are only the items that can be again resold because they're still in good grade. They are already, I don't know, repackaged, relabeled, ready to be restocked, and they can just accept it, put back in stock, and they don't need. And then people in my warehouse can actually focus on fulfillment and outbound.
Yeah, indeed.
Nice.
Yeah, and also uh, you can really control when we deliver. So it's not that you just have to, that trucks will appear. It will all be, planned and forecasted. So you know what volume is coming, and it's not a surprise.
Oh yeah, and then I know that, for example, I am short on sneakers, whatever t-shirts, and I know that they are coming, so I can better manage my inventory.
For example, but also in terms of people handling the volume coming back. So really the warehouse staff that you need to prepare for an incoming B2B shipment with 4 FTLs is now way more manageable.
So that is processing, and I think here something that we already mentioned, the refund trigger. You said that all the items that arrive to our warehouse, to the Cycleon warehouse, they can be scanned, and that's why there is such a short refund lead time, right?
Yeah, for e-commerce returns, this is the standard, right? So we receive the return, we open it up, we scan it, and we send a message to the brand saying, "Hey, this consumer returned these products back," and then a refund is initiated. So we call that the refund trigger. Yeah, we can do exactly the same for retail volume now. So depends a bit, yeah, how much granularity you need. Maybe it's on box level, maybe it's on pallet level, maybe it's on shipment level, or in this case on item level. But we can really send that trigger to let your systems know, and therefore you can let the retailer know that their credit is approved.
And that goes the same for marketplaces and partners you because basically you said we provide the same level of quality to all kind of returns.
Yeah, so it's really also here harmonizing all the things that we do to returns across all sales channels. So retail, e-commerce, and marketplace.
Let's talk a bit about the tracking because we already discussed that for consumers it is already a must now that they can track the returns themselves, just press track and trace to know when their refund will come, so that you don't need to call customer support all the time. How does it work for retailers?
Yeah, so all the carriers that we've selected as partners for this solution are integrated such that everything is automated. So we will pre-alert the shipment to them, so they will know that they need to come and pick up something at what time, what the store limitations are. Are they in a high street? Do they need a tail lift? All kinds of extremes, of course. But they're also the local heroes, and they have a lot of local knowledge of this area. Usually, they know that they can't show up at noon in a shopping street, right? So they know by default that they need to come there before 7 in the morning. So that's more on the scheduling side and organizing the transport. And then on the track and trace side, we're fully integrated as well. So we will have scans saying what pallets or boxes have been picked up, basically verifying the return that the retail user has requested is actually picked up, and then we can track it all the way to our warehouse where it's handed over to Cycleon systems, and from there we take it. But it's end-to-end traceable.
I know that. How does it look for brands? Because that goes both for consumer and retail returns. I myself as a consumer, I know that different postal carriers, they have different types of updates. Some say accepted in the network, some say dropped off at the postal location. How does it look for the brand or retailer? No, brand in this case.
Yeah, so we have standardized the journey in milestones. So whatever event a carrier will let us know happened on that specific shipment or a specific order, we will, link to or map to a category or a milestone in a network. So it doesn't matter from what country or what carrier, the milestone will be exactly the same. So you can really see a standardized overview of all the returns in the network, whether it's from a retail store, whether it's from a marketplace, or whether it's from an e-commerce sales channel.
Yeah, that's much more convenient than all kind of different notifications. Yeah. Definitely. Thank you. That I think that is clear. Let's talk about something that is typical for retail. I don't think I've ever seen these pictures for consumer returns. What is this?
Yeah, no. So again, not being naive, that it's sometimes a bit messy, right? There's a lack of room, a lack of warehouse space, a lack of backroom space in stores to really properly prepare a shipment, or pick a shipment in this case, or wrap it properly. And that's also one of the things that we wanted to solve to really streamline the logistics and efficiencies, is to clean up the volume that comes in and really deliver it to our brands in a way that it's then again manageable and workable for them. So on the left you see things that we sometimes get in, and on the right you see a typical Cycleon pallet with a Cycleon label on it, wrapped properly in a way that it can be moved efficiently.
Oh my God, it's night and day. I myself never saw that a pallet can look like it looks on the picture on the left. Okay, so I think we covered the entire returns flow from in the store, that there is the whole portal list, consumer experience. The process is simplified, and it goes to the Cycleon warehouse where the items are reworked, and from Cycleon warehouse they can be consolidated and shipped to the end destination, whether it's a distribution center or any other end destination. And I think here we can see how retail returns actually look like if all of this is in place.
Yeah, it's really about harmonization of the same kind. So we improve the user experience, we improve the operational efficiency, we make sure that there's traceability, visibility, we make sure that it's all more streamlined in a way, organized in a better way. It's more sustainable. it's just the next level of retail returns, and it really doesn't matter anymore, what the original sales channel was. We can bring it back in the same way, and I think this will really help, different teams at our brands to, increase the user experience overall.
And you said that also it's not only about e-commerce, it's not about retail, it's connecting all potential sales channels, having the same level of service for all sales channels, covering all potential digital channels, covering all physical channels altogether.
Yeah, so it's indeed, what you also have sometimes is, that financially things are split, right? And that's always used as an argument not to harmonize it. But what we can do here is we can say, well, it doesn't matter if it's from this financial entity or from that financial entity. We can bring it back. We can bring it back in the same way with the same user experience, with the same efficiency. But the last part, we can still split it out, right? It doesn't, in the end, we can still route it to different locations, but the experience of your customer, so the retailer or the marketplace or the end consumer, will be the same. So that's not really a reason to compromise service levels.
And with that, we come to the question, why shall I as a brand choose Omnichannel? And I think most of these points we already actually covered, but I just want to highlight a couple of them. One party to manage. So actually, as a brand, you only need to manage Cycleon as your returns management provider, because Cycleon will take care of everything else.
Yes. Yeah. So as I said, there's all the different sales channels and all the different types of returns. There's a lot of different stakeholders talking to each other, crisscross, and I think putting in place a standard solution that covers it all with one party at the helm, will greatly improve cooperation, but also steering, using one data platform as well, because the data is key here, right? So optimizing your returns flow, routing things differently, because you see in our data that some products that you are out of stock in one country is coming back in like bulk from the other, is something you can just easily see in a very simple overview. So I think that will really give you a lot of tools and a lot of benefit in insights, but also ways to optimize.
And also having one party to manage means that you as a brand don't need to even think about which carriers are there in place, because Cycleon will make sure that you have the best carrier for this country, and Cycleon will manage this carrier for you.
Yeah, not just the country. So it's really per situation. So sometimes it's better to send a carrier with premium kind of, because it's an important retailer to you, or it's a relationship you want to keep running smoothly. We can put in the VIP kind of feature, and then the lead times will be faster, and it will be a bit more premium carrier. If it's an FTL, we will send another type of transport. So really, depending on the shipment being requested by the user, will determine what carrier we will send.
That is very interesting. And one more point that I want to cover: network growth with you. I think I already said that you as a brand, and if you have higher volumes, you don't need to take care that you need to open an extra warehouse to take care of the returns, right? Which role does Cycleon play in this case?
Yeah, so what we bring to the table here is really forecasting and predictability of what is coming back, and really knowing what is in your network, and not just once it at the one step before it comes to we already know when it's picked up. So you can really see all the return orders coming back, doesn't matter from what channel, the associated volumes, and you can work with the data to optimize receiving this back at the location that you want. Plus, we will decrease volume, so we will really. Our aim is also to remove unnecessary movements, right? So if something doesn't make sense to move any further, we can sort it out locally instead of doing that all the way back at the distribution center downstream.
And where can you send it if you sort it out locally?
So this depends, for example, on the grade. So if you say, okay, all C grades can go to a local recycling party. Maybe B grades that are out of season can go to a charity or can go to an outlet center. So you can do all kinds of creative things with that.
That's good. And if that is already here, so we are here. Omni-channel solution is live, starting this moment.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the future. What's next?
Yeah. So next is really streamlining even more. So this is where we talk about this also a buzzword, but these BORIS returns, so buy online, return in store. So when we have, for example, just take a theoretical example that we have rolled out our retail portal together with our consumer self-service portal, you can really merge these two solutions together. Also from the consumer experience side, you can say, well, yes, you can drop this off at your local post, but you can also drop it off at this retail store. And then that store could, using a feature in the portal, could receive it and then consolidate it at that moment already with the normal retail returns. So then we really, from the initiation side, already consolidate. Now we will do it in our hub, but next up is doing it in the physical stores. Another one is so what we usually start with is getting all this volume streamlined, getting it in our network. Next step after that is really doing the activities that it requires. So opening up, verifying, grading, and all the data, data that we basically enrich. We can send them. We can transmit to the systems that you have. So your WMS, your SAP system, for example, which means that theoretically with a simple scan, you know exactly then what's inside that box or what's in a shipment on that pallet, what product is on there, what exact product is on there. So that will really act as a what we call the advanced shipping notification, where you really see exactly what's coming on a line item level.
And you don't get it as an Excel file, but it's streamlined into your database.
Yes, it can go in. So the integration can happen in multiple ways. So how it's transmitted is not super relevant, but it's really about having that granularity of data before you actually touch it yourself.
Next one is ecosystem. I repeated this word several times because Cycleon already has a broad ecosystem of partners, whether it's IT partners, platforms, logistics partners, and what is the plan there? Continue to grow?
Yes, definitely. So what you see, in the industry is that integration is key, right? More and more connections and more, we will create more seamless experiences. So we will continuously continue to add local heroes, local carriers, but also integrate with the top marketplaces and partners in this ecosystem, so that tapping into the Cycleon network will become a lot more easier.
That's a bright future.
Indeed.
I think we are slowly running out of time. Is there anything else do you want to say before we have a look at the chat, whether there are any questions?
No, not for me. Let's look at this. Let's look at the chat.
Let's look at the chat. Let me see. I think we have one potential partner in the chat who wants to connect with us. We'll keep you in mind. But right now, I want to ask everyone, if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat that we can answer them. Meanwhile, I'll come up with several questions myself, if there will be no questions. So this retail, so omni-channel, obviously we are here launching this solution. Is it already live, or when will it be live?
Yes, this is live. So if you are an existing client of ours, reach out to your account manager for more details on adding one of the sales channel solutions to your return solution to really get it all harmonized. If you're a new brand and not the current client of Cycleon, reach out. We can explain you a lot more about what we see as a standard for e-commerce, and also what we can do for the retail experiences plus the marketplace experiences.
We have a question. Are you ready starting returns for metaverse? I think metaverse is a really buzzword now everywhere. I think we are far from, to be honest, I don't know how much is sold now in metaverse to actually provide returns for that.
Yeah, it's maybe the next level of Omni-Channel, but for now the scope is the sales channels that we've indicated.
Okay, no other questions yet. Let me see, what else can I ask? On the map where we saw Europe and North America, is Omnichannel solution live on both territories?
Yeah, Cycleon is active on 3 continents, so we're active in Europe, North America, and Australia. And this is where we can offer this solution. So it's yeah. As I said, the clients that already know us, we can add it to the existing solutions, and new clients, potential clients, can reach out to get all the details. But yeah, geographies that we have will be covered.
We have one more question. Do you have a logistic partner that pick up items from customer house? I believe that's a consumer returns and e-commerce returns, right?
Yeah, so if you then think about sales channels, it originates either from marketplace or from the e-commerce sales channel, and then we offer what we call first mile. So a first mile product called home pickup, and that's when we send a courier to the house of the consumer to pick up the returns.
So the first mile is from the consumer to Cycleon warehouse, and consumer can book the pickup via the portal.
Yeah, so you can request. It depends a bit on region, but usually it either comes next day or you can schedule a pickup. Yes.
Convenient. Okay, let's see if there are any other questions. No more questions. Then I think we can slowly sum everything up. Again, if you have any questions afterwards, or if you will be watching the recording, then you can always reach out via Cycleon website. Sorry, there's one more question. Is your own carriers, or do you work with local logistic partners? I guess that's the local heroes that you mentioned.
Yeah, so we don't have our own carriers, or we don't own any carrier. So we partner up with local carriers, local heroes, but also international renowned carriers, and we can do this on all levels. So drop off for consumers, pick up for consumers, pick up for retailers, pallets, LTL, FTL, box collections from retailers. So yeah, that's all the we partner up globally.
And so does in this case, consumer will can choose the carrier that is local to him and that has more drop-off locations, for example, in his country, for better consumer experience.
Yeah. So in one of the other webinars we had, we talked about what do consumers actually like. And in some countries, so it's really regional, some countries drop-off is preferred over a home pickup, for example, for consumers. But yeah, the option is still there.
Nice, nice. Then I will say that with 3 minutes to 5 in Utrecht here, we are ready to finish. Again, if you will have any questions afterwards, or if you watch the recording and you have a question, just send us an email, contact us via contact form on the website cycleon.com, or you can always reach out via LinkedIn to one of our sales managers, or to Niels, or to me. We are always open for any questions. And thank you very much for watching. I really enjoyed it today.
Thank you, Alexandra.
Bye bye.